Bees. Beekeeper. So
Bees.
bees. Be a bee ward.
Bees.
Bees.
Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bees. Bee life. Bees. Bee life. Bees. Honeybees. Bees. Queen bee, drone bees, the male bees.
Male bees, female bees.
Honeybee bees. Bees. The female bees, the male bees, male honeybee. Bees, honeybee before, because male honeybees,
Bees.
Queen bee, drone male honeybees, queen bee, male honeybee, queen bee, drone bees, male bees, little bee life.
Male bee.
Successful male honeybee, drone bees.
The male bees.
Female worker bees, they're larger than the female worker bees. Beekeeper seem to be, for the bees, male honeybees. Bees.
Do bees?
Bees, the bees, beehive. Female bees, worker bees, drone male bees, a bee colony. Worker bees, other female bees besides the queen bee.
Worker bees are born.
Female worker bees turn into bees, worker bees, beekeeper, male honeybee babies, female bee eggs, queen bee, female worker bee egg, every bee, baby bee.
Regular worker bee, be a queen bee, or
Correct.
even a female bee.
Bees, worker bees, female worker bees into a queen bee. The queen bee's larger body size. Female worker bees, queen bee to the bee colony. A lot of bees. A queen bee that defecates. Bees defecate outside the hive. Bees that clean up after her. Royal court of attendant bees. Bees, remove bees. That would be the end of queen bee is bee colony.
Colonies of bees. All the bees go with the queen. Swarm of bees. What would that be? A colony of bees?
A colony of bees,
Colony of
yep.
bees.
Bee removal is a successful bee removal because as a beekeeper, bigger than all the other bees, only bee laying eggs, circle of bees, moving bees from point A to point B. Most of the bees, oh, that's a bee. Wow, to all the other bees.
No beekeeper suit.
Great colony of bees.
Bad colonies of bees?
There are certainly bees that can be, but
Why would that be?
beeswax, there's no baby bees, behavior.
Be there.
To beware. Those bees, but those bees maybe remove bees because bees choose to live what the bees want. Beehive, the bees aren't bothered how defensive they'll be.
These particular bees. For the folks that are just listening, where the bees
Since
were...
those bees are not
Whoa. Commercial beehive.
a traditional beehive.
You're a psycho. There's bees there. There's bees flying around your face. There's bees all over that thing.
There are a lot of bees there.
I understand. Bees to the left and the right of your mouth.
Definitely another dopamine hit when I first see that beehive. And
So there's how many bees are in there?
maybe large beehive. Those bees, protein source from bees. We shouldn't really be.
You're only interested in bees.
Bees.
like-
Time with bees and
That's true.
bees.
You kind of like bees more than people.
I love bees.
Wow.
So-
that sound, by the way, if everybody's listening, you're like, is there a fan on? No, there's bees here.
Baby bees. She's the largest bees, the other bees, the worker bees, because
Bees.
the bees, there's no place I'd rather be than elbows deep in a hive full of bees. Beekeeping class, honeybees. Beekeeping business, bee work, but it just wasn't bees. Professional beekeeper.
So do you have a formal education in bees?
Bee work. Be a beekeeper. Beekeeping services. Can you keep bees? But we don't want to be beekeepers ourselves. First year beekeepers, beekeeping classes and bee removals as a beekeeper was being able to go bees, learn more about bees, beekeepers, keep bees in. A lot of bee removals and see bees and see how they work together. And it's one of bees as a beekeeper. Hive is never going to be beekeeping, talking to other beekeepers. I'm not a bee, really love bees. And
I find bees interesting, but I couldn't imagine that being my favorite thing to do.
they were just terrified of the bees, and the bees and working with the bees as bees from a place that
Been invaded by bees. A lot of people are terrified of bees. So then maybe people are like, oh, maybe I need to rethink bees.
truly they're on the side of bees because they called a beekeeper to remove the bees. There was a fear of the bees. Us beekeepers were kind of like, nobody wants to be around us. Beekeepers, the bee removal process.
You alone with the bees.
Of a beehive forces you to be fear of bees within the beehive.
When you're doing this, Do you feel like you are in some way communicating with these bees?
Behavior that I meet the bees. The bees.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes.
You talk out loud to the bees?
Yes, all the time.
Really?
Where their baby bees are. Bee removal.
Other beekeepers?
Some wonderful beekeepers and have some wonderful beekeeping friends. Keeping bees. The bee removal process. Their bees or what's best for their bees. The beekeeping community can keep bees. Between
Amongst
the beekeeping
community.
keeping bees, yeah, bees, the bees,
Yeah.
bees, stuff about bees, the bee removal, bees and beekeepers be interested in it. If bees had a podcast,
Are you the bee lady?
grow some food, got 30 beehives most of the time around bee story. They're not afraid of bees anymore. They can be bees. They can be bees, be covered in bees.
I'm Erika the beekeeper.
Bees, the bees and the bees in my family and that of the bees. Just deal with the bees.
How important bees are. If all bees died, all people die.
A lot
Right.
about bees or bees. Bees are responsible for that. Bee populations, bees need bees. Honeybees and the over 20,000 species of bees. Other beekeepers out there like me help bees, will work for bees. Beekeeping, treat our bees better and make sure our bee populations are healthy.
Cell phone signals interfering with the way bees communicate. Bees were behaving that is interfering with the way bees communicate.
There could be bees as a beekeeper problem with my bees and my bees.
Doing the bees.
It's killing our bees that need bees to pollinate. Almonds are almost entirely dependent on bees. So we would have no almonds if we didn't have bees. This
So
one
that's
crop.
how they do it.
That's-
They bring in bees.
Beekeepers. Bees are, when bees, without bees who rely on bees.
So when a beekeeper bees in, where are they getting these bees?
Commercial beekeepers overwinter the bees in the south. Bees, friends in Colorado, beekeepers ship their bees, beekeepers.
And what are they feeding their bees, keeping their bees alive?
As beekeepers, we're supplementing for the bees, honeybees, the over 20,000 species of bees the bees feed with bees. I mean, these bees need bees, the bees for the bees, and the lives of bees.
And what would those things be?
Bees are covered in bees, food for bees.
One of the things that I read about bees and honey is that local bees, is that true?
That's completely false. Bees are not.
Get excited.
This guy put 2 cell phones in a beehive.
This is a person putting cell phones inside a beehive. Placed 2 cell phones inside a beehive to record the sounds of the bees made by the bees. The bees did not swarm. The bees' honeybee population decline.
Shit, I lost it. I think this.
And when we
talks
talk about honeybee beekeepers,
Go back to that, Jamie, what I was just going to point to. Bees. Rock bees. You're a bee lady.
It might have made that word up.
Of honeybees.
tell the other bees from scout bees. The scout bees, and it's the bee telling the other bees.
There's a waggle dance right
Yeah,
there.
there we go. It's the other bees around her, but she'll tell the other bees. The more bees, the bees are all voting for the other bees. Most of the bees, baby bees, bee eggs, nurse bees to baby bees and bee eggs. Female bee egg, more bee colonies, one bee colony.
And the other bees.
Bee removals. The bees fit all the bees and bees.
So let's take a look at this.
Would be happy to.
What is this?
That's,
Or would the bees come out?
you will see bees.
When I was a younger child.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Were you attacked by bees?
So the thing about honeybees, she is the only bee. Well, the male drone bees, female worker bees, other bees, queen bee. You could be, there's brood. This is where the baby bees are. So this side, the bees kind of making this little living chain of bees. Every bee, female worker bees have into the beehive structure. Actually, beekeeping bees.
Honeybees. Why do hornets kill bees?
Predator of the bees, eat the bees, where people keep bees. Beekeepers, bees have their own management techniques. But, people get them confused all the time, turn out to be for bees. They're not
I
so
don't
bad.
like They're assholes.
Oh, you want me to
Alright,
move this?
Yeah, let's put this down now.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. You're a cute little honeybee. So
It's the same way with bees. Bees need
look
porch.
at all these bees, entire colony of bees. Look, see, they're going in, they're eating the babies. Is this difficult for you?
I mean, it's not enjoyable. Africanized bees. How
Killer
we-
bees.
Yeah,
Killer.
I mean, that's these bees. I won't use that word, but
It's not a bee?
well, no, I won't use the term killer bees.
Oh.
The Africanized bee, a hybrid bee, honeybee, and a bee to breed a better bee. Subspecies of bee. The European honeybees, the Western honeybees, these are not native to the United States. We needed them.
Wow.
So honeybees are not native.
What pollinated plants before honeybees came here?
Bees evolved from wasps, actually. Bees evolved from these predatory wasps.
So wasps went vegan,
That's
and
right.
they became this much more peaceful creature, which is the honeybee. Bees, what pollinated plants before the bees?
Other bees. There's over 20,000 species of bees. Other bees.
Whoa, look at these creeps. Wow, look at that crazy looking blue bee.
I would guess that's an orchid bee.
Look at that creepy little one to the left. The ground nesting bee. It looks like a ground nesting squirrel. Creepy little squirrels. Wow. Bees were the bees that used to, but they didn't create honey?
So most bees, the honeybee bees, are solitary bees. Honeybees, social bees.
So these other bees would just buy them, they were like lone wolf bees?
Solitary bees, then honeybees, specialty bees. These bees, as honeybees, the bee populations, the honeybees, other bee populations, which
Bees.
bees do. Bees is what bees are doing. Bees evolved into bees. These bees, oh my gosh.
Look at the size of that sucker. I'm amazed that you didn't know about this.
I mean, bees have a parasite. Bees of bees actually know beehive facing bees. The bee are on the baby bees, and it will on the bee for bees, but
Been a bee.
female bees.
Do you know about that?
No, but we see it in the bee colony. We have undertaker bees, dead bee, the bee.
Of these bees.
What I see bees do is
Look at that. Oh,
bees
yes.
and bees. Be here.
Blah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not as fascinated by bees, obviously.
I mean, that's what I think about the bees.
Do you feel like you're stealing from the bees?
In keeping bees and the bees. In my beekeeping journey, keeping bees.
Right.
And the bees. It was a horrible year for bees. And the bees, we just need to be, as a beekeeper, kept bees in these boxes. Funny honey that's been cut with corn syrup or something.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, my God. So it's like drugs?
Beekeepers or beekeeper.
What's going on here?
Honey is the world's third most fake food, according to this
What?
article.
Sometimes Chinese honey is cut with much cheaper corn syrup and fructose syrup to enhance profit margins, and sometimes Chinese producers even feed corn syrup to the bees to get it into the honey more naturally. The importation of Chinese honey was specifically banned because it is so often adulterated. Oh, China.
Local beekeeper, the bees in mind from local bees, beekeepers, and the bee populations, not just packaged locally, then that's a great way to support. Or just go to your farmer's market and buy honey from your local beekeeper or your friend who is a beekeeper. I mean,
Local beekeepers.
local beekeepers, just ask your local beekeeper. A beekeeper. Beekeeping is so, bees forage for up to 2 miles, so beekeepers, beekeeping association, email the beekeeping association from one beekeeper, a beekeeper, local beekeeping association. Beekeeping itself is just, something that the bees, for the bees. The local beekeeper, what the bees read and the bees, it came off the bee. The bees rape off the bee's body on the bee's legs. It'll be little balls like that because the gland of every worker bee, the baby bees, queen bee, worker bees, all the female bees, younger bees that haven't developed yet for the bees.
And then there's bee pollen.
Most local beekeepers, beekeepers are.
Don't support that.
Leave
You're
it for
killing
the
bees.
bees.
Leave it for the bees. Oh, well, listen, Erika, I really appreciate you coming in here. It's been very, very educational. It's really cool. I love that you're doing what you're doing. It's really fun to watch your videos, and I think it's really illuminated the art and science and the love of beekeeping and just bees in general for a lot of people, me included.
Beeworks.
Beeworks. Everything Beeworks. All right. Anything else? You good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. It was really fun. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. All right. Bye, everybody.